Well, I asked you guys for comments, and boy, howdy, did I get them. You want to stick around for the end of this because there's some crow that I have to eat. I made a couple mistakes, but we'll talk about them, all right? What I want to say, and I did even more diving. Okay, I've been doing my homework. This is a list of companies. This is the new list of companies that are still privately owned. It is Crower, Bryant, Jezel, Callies, which owns Compstar, Bullet, which owns Ultradyne, Iski Racing, Manton, Brodix, Howard's, and Calvert Racing. Caltrax. I'm sure there's others out there, and if you guys can think of any that are still privately owned, that are manufacturers and performance part producers, comment down below. But those are I would say, the top 10 of known names in the American performance market. Okay, they're still privately owned. I mean, now there's some scuttlebutt about Howard's cams, about maybe some outside investors, but it's still controlled by the original owners. It's okay, so there might be some money backing them, but it's still the original owner. So they still have controlling interest. Okay. I've been going through with Callies and with Howard's, and I've just been doing all my research. The majority of them are still getting American produced materials, and a lot of them are producing them like Howard's Cams gets cam blanks and they grind them themselves, but they're from an American producer. I mean, there are lots of producers out there that are still family owned, that are the original owners, that are still doing business, that you might want to show some love to in the future. All right. I got to eat some crow. Okay. Because I really, I use 3 different AIs, Gronk and Gemini and Google search. I read stories, old news stuff, online. So here's the thing, is that I was wrong. Yes, Edelbrock's foundry in California is still running. Okay, it's still there. I mean, they are still producing, but they're not producing as many of the products they used to produce there. They have kind of consolidated down to specific things. Some of the older stuff has been discontinued, but the ones that are selling the most, they are still making there in the foundry in California. Okay, I was wrong. I apologize. I was wrong. Okay, 2020 was when the money came in, because there was a lot of smaller brands that were having troubles, and a lot of it had to do with the world we live in. All right, and the economies and things like that. So a lot of them were looking to get out because it was becoming harder and harder to do business. And the only way to do business was to consolidate. And when you're a company like Edelbrock, which was one of the bigger ones at the time, they still didn't have the bankroll. So everybody started reaching out for investors. And that's how this all started, and how everybody had to go along and do the same thing to still operate. Okay. So that's where this all started. That's where the money came in to be able to buy up all the smaller companies to make larger ones. It's just the way it is. Yes, going corporate and having guys that you have to answer to for the money, there are those situations. There are those problems that come up because of that. Now, is that a bad thing? Well, in some aspects, it's not, because we still have them around. And in some aspects, it is, because, like I said, they still have to answer to the people that have the money. So there are corners that sometimes have to be cut. I don't personally know what those corners are, but I know from all the different companies I worked for that were family owned that got sold to a corporation, it doesn't ever work out well. I'll give you an example, is that My old company that I worked for, it was family owned, and they knew how to set a schedule and sell enough to keep us work set up for about a year and a half. And they dealt with states. It was a bridge building company, and we did work for DOTs. And they knew after decades and decades and decades of doing it how to set up a year and a half, 2 years worth of work for the schedule that was doable, where you didn't kill your men, where you didn't waste your equipment, where you weren't working 24/7, 7 days a week, where you had time off, you could take Thanksgiving off, money was good, everybody was happy, turnover was not high on your personnel because you weren't just beating them to death. Okay, the family decides to sell. The moment that happens, half the people that built that company are gone. They got to make room, and everybody starts scrambling, trying to come up with these ideas of how to keep their job, trying to keep themselves relevant in the positions that they have, okay, in the new company, all right? And that's when the sales department kicks in high gear. What did we make last quarter? Well, we got to beat that this quarter. Well, what do we do? Will we sell more? Now, they're working 24/7, 7 days a week, 12-hour shifts. Corners are cut. Quality is down. Turnover is high. It's not fun to watch. You hope that the larger company, now that there's 3 or 4 major manufacturing companies with the different off brands, you hope that there's enough people left in there to keep that quality up, and for the spirit that we all grew up with and we all adored and enjoyed and relied on for decades. You hope that spirit is still there in those companies. Again, had to go along, get along. They had to survive. So the money came in and they took the deal. That's what they had to do. Now, what the amount of control is, that one I can't say. That if you look this stuff up online, they're very guarded about who actually runs the company, who actually owns the company, who makes the decisions for the company, where the products come from. They're very tight-lipped about this information. They just want everybody to think that it's the same old, like it's always been for decades, since the 60s when all this started happening and all these companies came on, and it was all, they all came on because they were racers. These are guys that came up with ideas and engineered it in their garage, in their backyard, and then figured out, things. And that's how business is done. That's how things are created. And, and the spirit of America is that, you come up with an idea and you work and work and work, and you go your fingers to the bone, and it happens. Nothing lasts forever. Okay. So this was a way for them to continue on. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the products. I still love Holley carburetors. I still like MSD ignitions. I like Flowtech headers. I like the products. I haven't had any problems with the products. I think over the last 10, 15 years, Holley has done some upgrades on their carburetors that has been great. It's just part of business. It's just part of the way the world it is. Hopefully things are looking up. I'm really hoping that the world takes a big turn and things start looking better. I do want to say that if I was wrong in the first video, I do apologize. I'm old enough to say that I was wrong. I probably misspoke some things, missaid some things, didn't do enough homework. I've been reading and running, and this is all I've been doing. All this information is everything I've been doing for the last couple of weeks, the last 3 weeks now. So, it's really opened my eyes to a lot of things. And you guys' comments have been great. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of you guys have chimed in with your opinions. And I read every single one of them, and I answered every single one of them, and I will continue to do that. That's what I do on my channel. I listen, okay? And that's why I went to work and started looking things up and really, really peeling back all the layers on the onion and trying to find all the information I could. I don't have an issue with any of the manufacturers. I'm not trying to step on toes. I'm not trying to make anybody look like the bad guy. I'm not. I'm just stating the way the performance industry is right now. I want to spend the rest of my days playing with them parts. And I want to go back drag racing again. And I need these parts to go back drag racing again to be competitive. It just kind of hurts me in my heart that, this is the way things go. But it is the law of the land. It's the law of the jungle. And that's, if you're not making money and if you can't take care of yourself, you're going to die. And I don't blame them for this at all. I don't want any of you guys thinking badly of any of these companies. I really don't. I've come to the conclusion that the way I was thinking about it was a little bit skewed, and I was wrong. And I just want you guys to not think badly of any of these companies. Now, nobody's called me. Nobody's emailed me. I've not had no contact from any of these companies from the previous. This is just me going through this and just searching my heart for what should be said. For me to just let everybody know that I didn't make that video, the first one, to put people out of a job, put people out of business, to cast a shadow over the industry. If that's the way it came across, I didn't mean it that way. If you guys would like to talk more about this, I do a live every Tuesday night, 8 o'clock Central. We sit down, we talk about things like this. And everybody has a voice that can chime in and you can have an opinion. I'd really love to have you guys there. We have a great time. It's all a whole bunch of regulars, and we just sit around and talk about hot rods. So it's really a nice get together. If you guys would like to talk hot rods and old motors and things like that, old school stuff, you'll have a good time. I promise. Even with everything I've said, I tend to go towards still family owned because my business is family owned. I grew up in businesses that were family owned. For me, my local tire store is a local tire store, and I could go to, I go to Walmart, I could go whatever and get tires for a little bit cheaper, but no, I go to my local place because it's local owned, local support. It's just my little bit of giving back. That's what I'm going to continue to do until I can't do it anymore, and then I'll bite the bullet and make the best informed decision for my purchases in the future. All right. So if you'd like to see something about a really cool build, pop that button. If you'd like to see something that the system says best for you, pop that button. Continue watching. Support the channel. Appreciate all of you guys. Have a great day.